Uncontacted tribes are groups of indigenous peoples who do not maintain contact with the world community, and as a result are often seemingly untouched by the technological advancements of the past few thousand years, and live the lifestyle of Stone Age man. It's estimated there are between 100 and 200 such tribes in the world today, with the majority of them living in South America. Northern Brazil alone is home to about 80 of them. As such, the Brazilian government has a protection agency, the National Indigenous People Foundation, or FUNAI, monitoring and tracking these peoples and their lands, and protecting them against incursions from the outside world. In the mid-90s, FUNAI discovered evidence of a previously unknown tribe in a section of the Amazon rainforest in the Brazilian state of Rondônia. They had found huts and holes dug in the ground, but no sign of the people who had left them there. And then they found him. A lone man in the forest. FUNAI observed the man from a distance. He appeared to be indigenous, living off the land equipped with stone tools and adorned in tribal wear. But where was the rest of his tribe? Over a protracted period of monitoring, FUNAI discovered that the man occupied a territory of about 8,000 hectares of rainforest, moving from hut to hut, building new ones if he had to, hunting, gathering fruits and berries, planting crops, and digging the mysterious holes. And in all that time, he never once communicated with anyone else. He was completely alone, an uncontacted tribe of one. It seemed this man had built the dozens of huts in the forest, and he had been the only one to ever use them. He had dug all the holes too, some as deep as 10 feet. They were inside the huts, outside the huts, and nobody knew what the man was using them for. Protection, animal traps, maybe spiritual shrines. Whatever the case, he seemed to need a lot of them, earning him the nickname the Man of the Hole. But where did he come from? How long had he been living alone like this? Where was the rest of his tribe, and why was he estranged from them? FUNAI found a possible answer in a nearby tract of land, a deforested area with the remains of destroyed huts. It seemed they had been bigger than the ones made by the Man of the Hole, suggesting multiple people could have used them. Also on the site, long abandoned holes, just like the solitary man had made. FUNAI put the pieces together and came to the conclusion that the Man of the Hole was the sole survivor of a massacre against his people, likely committed by ranchers or industrialists claiming the land. I know what you're thinking. Would members of a technologically advanced civilization really do something like that to a resource-rich people who have no realistic means of physically defending themselves or access to legal recourse? A better question might be, oh, that happened here as well, huh? Since the 1970s at least, industrial expansion in the Amazon has threatened indigenous peoples and their way of life, as loggers, miners, and ranchers seek to put the land to use for their own benefit, with little regard for the people living on that land. This has led to illegal actions against native tribes, driving them from the land or outright killing them. A handful of tribespeople in areas near the Man of the Hole tell stories of their tribes being massacred by settlers in the 70s and 80s, leaving FUNAI to believe the Man of the Hole's tribe was caught up in this wave of killings and expansion. If that's true, the Man of the Hole had been living like this for at least a decade, and nobody knew because there was no one to tell his story. He had contact with no one. But maybe contact could be made, and the world could hear his story, learn his name, and learn about who his tribe were and what happened to them. An expedition was planned to make contact with the Man of the Hole, bringing along 2 members of nearby contacted tribes. It was unknown what language the Man of the Hole spoke, but he may have had some shared language with these people that might allow some level of communication. The expedition tracked down the Man of the Hole and cornered him in a hut where he sought refuge from their advances. The tribesmen perform rituals and call out to the man in an attempt to coax him out, but he offers no response. They have no idea if he's even understood. An arrow jutting out of his hut is his only communication. Stay away. He lets one loose at an approaching expeditionist. The men catch glimpses of the tribesman's face. He looks scared. They decide not to disturb him further, leaving food and tools before departing. You'd think a man in his position would have been relieved to finally be free of his isolation, to have some human contact after so many years alone. But in his defence, the last time people that looked like this came onto his land, they killed everyone he ever knew. He has a right to be suspicious. Another thing worth considering is the man of the hole was obviously aware of the outside world since at least the massacre of his people, and likely for some time beforehand. When people think of uncontacted tribes, they tend to think of people who live in another time because they've never encountered anything outside their bubble. But the truth is, the vast majority are aware of modernity. They may not maintain contact with the outside world, but they neighbour tribes that do. They've seen modern clothes and tools, heard stories of celebrity musicians and sports people who are famous all around the world. Many international organisations refer to uncontacted tribes as indigenous peoples in voluntary isolation, because they know modern civilization exists, they just choose not to partake in it. So the man of the hole probably made the right decision here. I mean, if given the choice, which way of life would you think is more fulfilling for a human being? I think I'd rather be the man of the hole than the man of the insurance broker. Unfortunately, in today's world, the men of the insurance brokers and their friends make it very hard to be a man of the hole. In 2007, the Brazilian government officially recognised 8,000 hectares of the man of the hole's land as protected indigenous territory, and Funai tried to ensure these boundaries were respected by settlers, who were angered that such vast swathes of rainforest were now legally off limits to them and obstructing their development of industry. In 2009, as Funai monitored the man of the hole's territory, it came across a disturbing sight. One of the man's outposts had been ransacked, and spent shotgun cartridges were found at the site. Someone had attacked the man of the hole. Funai later found the man unhurt. He had survived the attack, but he still would not allow anyone to get close, so they could not ask him what had happened, or if it had ever happened before. Had the settlers been trying to get this guy ever since they killed his tribe? Had he been constantly trying to evade or ward off attacks all this time? Imagine how he felt when the expedition had him surrounded in his hut. He probably thought that was it. They'd finally caught him. Under Funai's watch, the man of the hole maintained his lifestyle for many years, rejecting any human contact that came his way. It's not known if he understood that some of the people he'd see wished him no harm, and that he just had no way of distinguishing them from his tormentors, or if he just saw every attempt to contact him as a ruse for an attack. Did he relish the thought that other humans would occasionally come by just so they could see each other, or did he really just never want to see another human being again? In 2022, we lost our chance of ever finding out, because Funai found the man of the hole dead in a hammock, and with him, the chance of ever learning his name, his language, his culture, and the chance that there would be any justice for what had happened to him and his people. Examination of his decomposed corpse indicated that the man was about 60 years old and had died of natural causes. He had been found in his hammock ornamented with macaw feathers, leading some to wonder if he knew he was about to die. He had spent the majority of his life alone, knowing he would never again hear someone call his name, or speak his language, or sing his favourite songs. If I were him, I'd be a bit pissed off to be known only as the man of the hole. Like, I love hole as much as the next person, but how about man of the stone axe? Man of the 50 huts built by hand in the rainforest. Man of the massacred tribe that saw no justice. You dig a few holes and that's all anyone talks about. But if no one had stumbled across this man, if he hadn't survived, no one would even know any of this happened. But it's been happening at quite a large scale for quite a long time in Brazil, where the genocide of indigenous peoples still continues 500 years after Portuguese colonization. This is happening now. Immediately after the man of the hole was buried in his traditional home, the land was invaded by farmers and his grave desecrated. So even in 2022, I guess not everyone agrees that subjugation and eradication of a native peoples has gone out of fashion. It's strange to think people stuck in the 16th century are harassing people stuck in the Stone Age, and it's all been narrated by someone trapped in a 1990s time warp. That's me. You can watch more of my videos if you liked this one, because I've made a lot of them. Too many, probably. You can subscribe to see them as I release them in the future, and you can join the channel membership to support me monetarily. Although, if you're the charitable sort, it might be worth looking into some of the things I mentioned today. Anyways, until next time, stay safe. He lets one loose at an approaching exhibition. Fuck. And as a result, are often seemingly What is happening to me? Also on the site, a long abandoned... You fucking idiot. It's not known if he understood that some of the people he'd wished him... fuck. Can I do one fucking paragraph without that? God fucking damn it. Or sing his favourite songs. Jesus, that was nice. And then...